Hello and welcome. I'm Lily and you're listening to F Word, the agency experience. Thanks for tuning in to Fresh's very own podcast, where we'll be taking an insider's view on agency life in our incredible industry. We'll be sharing insights, innovations and knowledge on all areas of the agency experience, the good, bad and the ugly. Stay tuned as we delve into what it takes to stay ahead of the game in 2025 and beyond. Welcome to episode 4. So today we're going to be talking about what is agency life like in your 20s. And today with us we have got Madison Radford, our assistant producer from our film and social team. And our senior account manager, Anna Clarke. How are you both doing today? Great, yeah. So we've been on this side of the camera, but I'm getting used to it. Nice. So can you tell me about when you got started in the agency? We'll start with you, Matt. Yeah, mine was a bit different because I'm coming from a film and social background. I studied journalism at uni at first and I quickly realised it was just not for me. So because of COVID hitting and there's not been many jobs out there, I decided to do a master's where I studied digital video production and marketing. How was that? It was tough. It was tough, especially because it's such a practical course and we were having to do it all online until like halfway through. I didn't feel like I was getting the full experience, but I just still quickly fell in love with it and I realised it's where I want to be in my career. So after that, I just applied for any single job I could get within production. And I didn't know there were jobs in corporate comms and brand agencies. I thought because they always tell you there's jobs in TV, film, advertising. When I saw the job at Fresh came up, I applied and been here ever since, 3.5 years in. What about you, Anna?
Initially, I wanted to be a wedding planner. Growing up, though, I quickly realised I like my weekends. I went to uni, did a business and management degree. Within my degree, I did a placement here, had an amazing time. They're a great agency, but I wanted to move to London.
How was your time in London?
Yeah, amazing. Great for your early 20s. Although after 7 years, I was pretty done with that, I think. So decided to move up north. And found Fresh. What about you, Lily?
I remember being in my uni open day at Sheffield Hallam and I just fell in love with it there and then. And I said to my mum and dad, I was like, that's what I want to do. So yeah, went through uni, ended up doing my 3rd degree placement year in London, which was amazing. Same as you, absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. And then came back up north to finish uni and then COVID hit, which was just fantastic for everybody, especially in the events industry. So yeah, ended up working in accountants, which was bizarre. And then as things started to settle, found my way back into events. So from being a student to getting your first agency job, how was your path to get there?
Probably took me about 3 months to get into my first job. I would advise people to network. I feel like I could have done it more than I did, but having a placement at an agency allowed me to interact with employers. And even though I didn't get the position after that placement, it allowed me to get that knowledge and knowing that how to speak to those type of people within the agencies.
I think it's a good confidence builder.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was only there for a month. I was not there for like a whole year like you had been, but it was good just to see how they all interact with each other and how important it is to be confident. Even if you don't feel it, which I definitely didn't, they like confidence. They like you putting yourself out there. I actually went through a recruiter to get my first job out of uni. And there's definitely a lot of different types of agencies. And a recruiter kind of be able to guide you a little bit more on what you want. I wouldn't say that I did know what I wanted at that time. It was, I want to work in events. I kind of wish I had that.
Yeah.
I wish I did have that person who would tell me like, oh, this is what this agency does in terms of the corporate comms side of things. Because I had no clue. And I've just kind of learned on the job. I just wish I did have that expertise, like someone to tell me, like, hey, this is what you're going to be getting yourself into if you go into this role. This agency does this. Like, I feel like that would just help me so much.
From both angles, though, you both, even though it's very different for both of you, it's very like natural ways of going into it. You're not supposed to know everything about every company and things like that. So it is just a part of, you are kind of like vulnerable in your early 20s. You don't know which path to go down, but there is that many different options to choose from. So, Anna, what did you think it would be like versus what it's actually like when you first started out?
I thought events was going to be lots of great dinners, you get wined and dined, you go very glamorous, exactly, and potentially get to travel abroad, which in reality, yes, sometimes you do, but it is still really hard work. You are sometimes working till 2, 3 a.m., back up at 6 a.m. You have to take the incredible things that happen, but also realize it takes years to kind of get to that point as well. Sometimes you can't expect that in your first year of working in events. You do have to work hard to get that responsibility, to get trusted, to be in those positions.
What about you, Mads? What do you think?
I thought that I'd be working in a lot big, flashy shoots. During my placement month in my masters, I did a placement at a well-known agency that do a lot of those high-budget shoots, and thought it was my dream. Fortunately, I didn't get the placement, and a couple of my friends stayed there, and they were loving it at first, but everyone that I know or knew who worked there have all gone because the culture there was not what they expected. It's not as glamorous as you think, and it's just realizing that those small, medium companies can support you just as well, if not more.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I didn't come into events thinking that there'd be that many agencies that pitch for that work, and the big jobs that come in and things like that. There could be 10 other agencies that's trying to get the close in as well. And I think that's been an eye opener from coming into events and seeing how hard you have to work to secure those deals. But there's so many other things, like when we do events in Manchester and the Purple Palace premiering is best friend for like days on end. We went to Abu Dhabi and stayed in an incredible hotel. Breakfast was fantastic. But the days were just so long, like so long, and you work so hard, but it all makes it worthwhile in the end. So how is it working in an agency in your 20s, if we talk about the good, bad and the ugly?
I think one of the best things about working in an agency in the 20s is the friendships that you build, the experiences that you share together. You work so hard together and you're such a team, such a unit. You build those friendships and those friendships last as well. Yes, it's quite nice because a lot of your team are similar ages, but like my team is quite mixed, and I love hearing about everybody's experiences, and I love having tips and tricks about life and kids and all that. You need that mix to learn off other people, different experiences, different life stories. Makes a big difference in your career and your learning experiences as well.
I think there's a lot of people out there that, especially in the events agency, I've not experienced it here, but that still have that expectation of the generation before us, where all you did was work constantly, like you lived to work.
Mm-hmm. Is that work-life balance? That's so important now. For the years I was working in London, if you left before 5:30, you'd get the eyes, you'd get shunned on, it'd be like, why are you leaving? And I think since COVID, I've seen that way more, where people will leave early because they've got to go pick up the kids, but then they'll finish their work potentially or finish their hours in the evening, and it's that flexible time.
It's refreshing.
It's refreshing to see role models, people with the high responsibility, also having families, also managing lives as well as absolute smashing work. I think it's so lucky that we've been able to experience that so early on in a career as well, because it's just the norm now. So it's like, I know for me, that would be on the top of my list. It would be to have that flexibility of working, because it's so important.
So for our final section, we're talking about what should agencies be doing to attract and retain the next generations.
Oh, that's a good one. I feel like the good thing with Fresh, in my current experience, is that I feel like we all work as one team. Even though we do have seniors and juniors, we can speak to anyone and everyone and feel like we're able to. I've heard horror stories from people I know of who, again, go to big agencies and they're made to feel so belittled. And I know you've got a horror story yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work at an agency and the blame culture there was ridiculous. Like, everyone was made to feel so small, and it really takes it out of you. Like, it drains you, and it's not even after you've left, it stays with you for quite a long time. And that's not your fault as a junior. You shouldn't be made to feel like that. It's about learning. It's about making mistakes and things like that. It's not getting shouted at like you're a child. Your leaders are supposed to motivate you and make you feel like you have a place there and you're one of the members that keeps the business ticking. If the culture is like that, you aren't going to retain staff, and you want people to feel empowered. You want people to feel ambitious and to have aspirations and things like that.
I think it's important for senior leaders to reward the talent and recognise the talent. When you do get really talented juniors, to tell them, to help them grow, gives them that more responsibility that they deserve. And once they've shown you that they can do the job, that they are really good, really qualified, to reward them.
Definitely a valid point, but it's not saying that they always need rewards or they always need recognition. That's where things can get misconstrued sometimes, because it's just feeling respected, and also feeling like you've got a place within the industry, within the agency. It's not always about, oh, you get a gold star. And I think that's where things can conflict sometimes with Gen Z, millennials, older generation and things like that, because sometimes they think that it's constant praise, it's always wanted, when it's not. It's
not. It's respect.
Yeah. A feeling like you have a voice.
Yeah.
Feeling like that you can speak up. You are still a human being.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And having that, being able to have that voice, so your opinion matters.
As a creative, that's actually really important, because in creative sessions, like, it's so important to speak up and say your ideas. And I know when I first started, I was so nervous to do that, because I thought, what happens if they think my idea's silly or something like that? And even now, sometimes I think that, but it's just so important to feel like you're in that safe space to say that. Even if they just come back to you and say, oh no, that was a great idea. Because sometimes that idea might make it to the end, and in some cases it has for me. And it's just that little confidence boost and being like, oh no, I do actually know my stuff. It just makes all the difference, because then you just that confidence stays with you then, and then you're more open to opportunities to speak up and get involved in those sessions and not feel silly doing so. I feel like a lot of people in their 20s, they're fueled by that opportunity to develop and progress and have those different types of training and absorb. They want to absorb everything to be able to find out what we want, what we like, what we don't like. So for me, if I was going to offer any advice to agencies, is to allow that and allow people to try the different things. And I just feel like we thrive on personal development. So for me, that's quite important.
And they'll have less turnover of staff.
Yeah.
I think it's important to know that you don't have to go elsewhere and jump from job to job to get that. You can get that where you are. It's just having those things in place for people to know about as well.
I feel that's quite common in agency.
It's those SMART targets, those milestones that you can reach and that are reachable and are written down, so you know where you're running, you know what you need to do to get to the next level. But that also includes the training part of it. You need that mentor, the person that you can go to ask those stupid questions that everyone has.
I mean, how many times have I rung you and I'm like, I know it's a stupid question, but and then you're like, that's not a stupid question, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
But in your head, you're like, oh my God, should I ask it? Should I not? Yeah. So I think having that line manager, having that role model or things like that you can talk to, so that you know that when you do ask those questions that you don't know the answer to, it's okay.
Yeah.
So before we wrap it up, I've just got one more question for you. So for someone listening right now that is just starting off their career, what advice would you give them?
I would say do your research. Initially, there's such a big variety of types of agencies, types of events that you can work in, and each are very different. But then my second piece of advice is, if you aren't happy, if you don't like it, move. There are so many amazing agencies out there. If you're unhappy, don't stay there. Don't be kept in a box. Yeah, spread your wings.
What advice would you give, Mads? I really do believe that you need to believe in yourself. Like, I heard that so many times and I didn't listen to myself, but you just truly need to believe in yourself and believe in your source, believe in your skills, and just know that, like, your voice could be what they're wanting, and your skills and your knowledge they might not have. And it's just to truly, like, just push yourself, put yourself in those difficult situations or what would make you feel uncomfortable to a point, but like just believe in yourself and knowing that if it does go wrong, it's not the end of the world. And yeah, just take it how it comes, and don't be too harsh on yourself.
Thank you very much for joining me today. We've had a great time. I think you'll agree. Yeah, I've had a blast. It's great fun. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe to our podcast and follow us on our social channels. Thanks and bye for now.